So this is a super duper different piece of content for my channel. Simply Shauna here. I'm here with Lyneida and with Shay. You've met both of them before in prior videos if you're a subscriber here. We had intended to do a live today, and we tried to do a live with you, but we wound up running into some issues. But it is progress over perfection today, and we're not going to be stopped. Just like we hope you'll apply that concept or that idea to your Etsy shops. Progress over perfection. So we've been traveling, which is why I don't have a piece of content for you today. Usually I put content out on Wednesdays and on Fridays. In this kind of live, we're going to treat it like a live anyways. We're filming ourselves, and I'm going to post it right afterwards. And then we'll film a live the proper way next time, where we'll give you some warning and you'll get to comment and we'll get to answer your comments. In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about where we're at, where our journeys are. We all have very different amounts of time to put into our Etsy shops. So we're going to let you know kind of where we're at right now, what our goals are as we're coming up to Q4. If you're a subscriber on the channel, you know we've been doing a deep dive into Q4 goals, into strategies, and into our hopes for what we're going to do for Q4 and how to prepare for Q4. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and what we're hoping to do. And then in January, we'll come back and we'll let you know, well, this is how close we got to those goals, and this is what we were each able to achieve with those goals.
Or that we exceeded.
Or that we exceeded, that we, did better than what we had hoped we would do. Fingers crossed, absolutely. So as we've been traveling together, Shay was unable to go to Washington with us. We just got back from Washington, but we did a beach vacation where it was a little easier. She's been working, which she's going to chat a little bit about that and how that's, made listing difficult. And I know that will really resonate with some of our subscribers. We're, each of us are in very different places with our Etsy shops and very different time limits and abilities to be able to designate time to our Etsy shops. So wherever you're at, just remember it's progress over perfection. It's never going to be perfect. Just like today's live. It was definitely not perfect, but we're getting this content out there anyways, and we're making it happen. Do be watching next week. We're going to release some content that we filmed while we were traveling based on getting your Etsy goals accomplished while you're traveling, and some creative thinking ideas for you. All right, so in this video, we are going to cover our goals for Q4. So if you've been watching, you know that my goal is 500 listings for Q4. I am getting 35 to 45 orders this week, I'd say, most days. I had some low days of 2022. I am selling Christmas items, but they are the Christmas items that I created last year. My Christmas items for this year, I have not sold a whole lot of those. So if you're new to this and you're just starting to create those Christmas items and you're not selling them yet, do not feel bad about that. You're kind of building those train tracks for your train that it can start chugging along a month or two down the road now. So last year I set that up for myself, and I'm getting to reap the rewards from that this year. All right, so you guys know pretty much my story. We're going to hand it over here to Shay and Lyneida. So, Shay, you want to tell everyone where you're at and what's going on?
So, now I'm at 76 sales in my store. Yay!
Yay!
Almost at 100. That's exciting. And lately, I've been getting a little more consistent sales. This week, I had 3 sales in my store, so that's exciting.
Yes.
Also, but like Shauna was saying, I don't have a lot of time to put into my store, but I still try and consistently add to my store. I have a full-time job. I also work a part-time job. I do promotions. I do a lot of other things on the side. So I have very limited time, but I still work my shop so that I can later on feel like reap the benefits of putting all the information, all the things in my shop. So for Q4, I'm looking to have maybe 150 items. That's what I can put in my store. Like, that's what I have time for. And if I get more than that, then that's even better. But I'm trying to work as hard as I possibly can to make sure that I am reaching these goals and that I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, so I cannot wait to have another video come out in January where Shay gets to tell you how she did. A few months ago, we were in the Keys, and her sales were I think you might have been in 40 something at that time.
I think so. I think it was something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and now she's in the 70s, and it's coming a little bit faster to have the 3 sales this week.
Right.
Was super exciting.
Something that did help me was 4th of July. I had a lot of sales at that time, and that kind of took off for me. So that was really exciting. So that was even more of a boost for me to continue putting more things in my store.
Have you sold any Christmas items yet?
I have not sold any Christmas items just yet, but that's okay. I'm still working on putting more items in my store.
And don't forget, don't feel bad if you haven't sold any Christmas items yet that you are putting out, because that's something. I'm not selling any of my new Christmas items either, pretty much. Most of the stuff that I'm selling is Christmas items from last year. And then I think another question people might be curious about, Shay's working in an evergreen niche. So what I think is interesting, and this is often how it starts out, and I kind of forget to mention it because of where I'm at in my shop, but when I'm talking with Shay, I think about where I was and what you might really be interested in hearing about. Most of your sales are coming from one listing.
From one listing. Yep, from one listing right now. So that's super exciting.
Yeah. So, and that's normal. Like, I remember worrying about that in the beginning, like, oh no, if once people aren't interested in this listing anymore, then does that mean my shop dies? No, it's that's the catalyst to in the algorithm. Your shop is going to just gain more momentum, and other listings will start taking off too. Now, that's an evergreen niche that Shay's been selling in. And I've been telling her to double down on that and get more listings in that evergreen niche down. But since she's got limited time, she's also juggling trying to get ready for Q4. So it's a tightrope line.
It is.
That you're always walking.
But you continue to still put that time and effort into your shop if you want it to continue to grow. And when I have the moment, I will most definitely go in and add more to that niche, because I see what it's doing right now, and I know that it'll only get better.
Yes. All right, thanks, Shay.
Okay.
If you guys do have questions for Shay, just drop into the comments, answer them. I'm trying to think about the questions you might have. Again, we intended to do this live, so we would have invited you to go into the chat and ask questions, but just drop down in the comments and we'll answer any questions you have about their journeys, their stories. Lyneida, I'm sure people are curious. Now, if you've been around on the channel, you know that I did an interview with Lyneida a while back. She had been scooting along, she made some very big changes in her shop and started making sales this year. And so let's hear from Lyneida where she's at.
So I am currently at 927 sales. It's still been slower than I expected. I was hoping by September it would have picked up a little bit more than it has. I made a couple of sales during our Washington trip, and then I actually sold a shirt, I think it was before our Washington trip, of a Christmas listing that I designed last year. So that was really exciting that one got seen and that I was able to sell that. And then during our Washington trip, somebody messaged me about that same listing, and I actually sold 3 shirts on a Christmas listing that I designed this year, like a couple months ago. So that was really exciting to see that some of these listings are being seen, especially the ones that I just designed. And they're getting views, and I'm looking at my stats to see which listings are being seen more, which one are getting likes, so that I can design more on that, doing the market research. So that's where I'm at. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that by end of September I can reach my 1,000 sales. And my goal for Q4, I don't know if it'll work, but I'd like to do between 300 and 500 new listings for the holidays. I don't have as many jobs as Shay, but I do work a full-time job, so I fit this in after work when I can. Sometimes I take my computer at work, and if there's a moment, I'll close my door and I will try to stick in some listings and try to put something up to at least get it done. So I try to fit it in wherever I can. But I'd like to, by end of Q4, have reached 1,800 to 2,000 sales. Because like what Shauna says, when it comes to Q4, you can double in the fourth quarter what you've done all year. So going by my sales, I would like to be between 1,800 and 2,000. If not exceed, I would not be upset about that. So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
So we were in Washington, and then when we switched vacations, and that was really so that Shay could join us for part of this vacations. Lyneida was off of work, and we wanted to make the best out of the days that she had off, and we usually travel together over the summer. Mm-hmm. So when we first switched, and I got to the beach house, Lyneida and I were sitting here celebrating, this part of the trip, and we just got into a really great conversation that we wanted to share with you. The kind of goes along with this YouTube video, really. Mindset, progress over perfection, moving forward, and just keep one foot in front of the other and keep going. So, Lyneida, do you want to speak on that conversation we were having?
Yeah, I was feeling a little, I guess a little down, a little just like, not fully defeated, because I don't want to say that I was feeling defeated and like I'm at that point of just like wanting to give up or anything like that. I definitely don't feel that. But I was just feeling down because like you want to see it grow faster. Like you want to see it like pick up, right? I mean,
100%.
Yeah, you can speak on this too. Like
yeah.
you just want to see it pick up, especially because, and now I know there's a difference because Shauna has been doing this for a couple of years super consistently. So I'm not saying that I should be making six figures right now, but you just still want to see because when it kicked off for me, it was daily sales. And it was daily, not just one sale, it was daily multiple sales in that first month. So it went from no sales to just quickly. So you got that taste of those daily multiple sales to go to months of not daily sales. I think I've even gone 5 and 6 days without a single sale. Right now, my last sale was, I got one last night, but before that, I think it was September 2nd or September 3rd. So it's like 3-4 days in between a sale. And so like yesterday, I was just like, man, I really just want a sale. I really just want one sale. I don't care what it is. I just want one sale. I want to see it keep going. And so I start to get down. So when we got here, we were talking about it, and I was just telling her, I was telling Shauna, like, I feel down. I thought that by September, it was going to pick up more. Even if it was every other day, a sale. Doesn't have to be the way it kicked off in March, but at least just starting little by little to see the increase. And so I was feeling down about it. And so I started to think also about my mindset on things. If I let these moments when I feel down keep me down, then I'm gonna, in turn, at least I don't know how other people feel, but for me, I start to feel like, well, what's the point? It's just one day. Let me not list today. I'm tired. Let me just not put anything out. And so in turn, I don't know if anybody's ever heard this term, but it's something that we use a lot in psychology, and I'm a mental health therapist, so this popped in our conversation of self-fulfilling prophecy. And what is a self-fulfilling prophecy? It's basically when your beliefs and your expectations influence your behavior, and subconsciously we start to change our behaviors without even realizing it, and it ends up creating your own self-fulfilling prophecy. So, like, for example, you wake up and you say, oh, today's going to be a terrible day. And so then your attitude makes that prediction true, because then you go about with your day focusing more on the negatives, because you already said, well, today's going to be a bad day. So you're focusing more on the negatives than on the positives. And then you magnify the negatives instead of looking at what some of the positives were in your day. And so then in turn, you behave in ways that are more likely to contribute to having more unlikely to contribute to having an enjoyable day. So same goes for Etsy. If I go into this thinking, what's the point? I'm not going to work on this. I'm not getting sales. I had my little moment. It's not going to continue. it happened for me in March. It's not going to happen anymore. Like, I'm done. It is what it is. Or even last year when I got my first sale, and then it took like a month or two to get my second sale, and then months of not getting any sales. I could have quit. I could have just said, nope, this is it. This is not going to happen for me the way it is for Shauna. And I was posting, now we know they may not have been the best listings or even the best SEOs. So there was other factors to that. But I could have said, oh, this is just not going to happen for me. I'm just not going to do it. And then I just gave up. And then I never would have had what I've had this year. And the same goes for me now. Like, if I just, no, it's not picking up. It is what it is. That's what I had. It's not going to be anymore. Then I'm creating my own self-fulfilling prophecy, because then I stopped listing. I start little by little start putting less out, or don't put anything, or go days without missing, and then I'm missing on my opportunity where we really can see in fourth quarter what this will jump into, which then just propels you into the following year. And so I've even said to myself, like, well, what value am I going to put out there when there's so many shops, there's so many other people that are already getting sales, that are already doing things. And so again, I won't do what's necessary if my mindset is negative. If all I think is, well, what's the point? There's so many people out there with shops and with shirts and with similar designs, or the copycats, or if I just let the negatives take control of my thought process on this, then it goes with, just like with anything, it's not going to work. You have to go into it with like, well, if other people can, then I can too. You have to go into it and just say, I'm going to put effort into this, and I'm going to try, and I'm not going to give up the moment it gets hard. Because again, in turn, you start doing things, and I've noticed myself, when I get down because I don't get a sale or I don't do things, I go a day or two and I don't post anything, well, then of course I'm not going to get any sales. I am causing that for myself. So if I really want this to work, I need to go in and I need to have a positive mindset. I'm not saying you can't have your moments where you feel down. Right. You talk about it, but you move past it. You just keep going. We've seen, and it's not just with Shauna. Yes, we've seen what it can do for Shauna, what it's done for her life, and where it's gone to, so we see where it can go. We see so many other people who have gone similar roads and have accomplished it. So why not us?
Why not us? That's right.
Like,
That's right.
Why not us? I want to have that life where I'm still making money daily, and I'm on vacation.
Right.
We talk all the time, like, oh, we get to this place with Etsy, and we're going to be in the summer, like, okay, what country do we want to stay in?
Exactly.
What country do we want to go stay in for a month? And we're still working on our Etsy, and we're in a beautiful place. And I mean, even just here in this little beach town, like, we're here together, we're enjoying our time, and we're sitting down on the couch and we're working on Etsy together. You know, we want to achieve that. And if we want to achieve that, we have to make the sacrifices like Shay's making of being tired. Trust me, I'm sure there is time. You can say it. You don't want to do nothing.
There are so many times I just want to lay down on my couch and just not do anything, but I know that I have to continue to list because I want to be in that place where we can go on those vacations. We can have that time together and still make money with our Etsy shops.
Not having to ask for time off from our jobs, and having to look at how many hours we have and if we can do a week or 2 or 3 like when we would do Europe.
Right.
Like, we want to have those lives. So it's going to take a little time, it's going to take effort, and it's going to take those tired nights to do it. But you just have to go into it with a positive mindset of like, I'm going to do this. I am going to do this, and this is going to work out for me because I am putting the work, I am being consistent, and if other people can do it, why not me?
And that mindset also goes along with if your shop gets shut down too
Yes.
as well. You have to want to put that effort into it because no matter what, even if it gets shut down, you start all over again because you can get there. Shauna's my inspiration, and that is why I decided to open up my second shop because I wasn't going to. You guys have heard the story if you've been here, and I wasn't going to open up my second shop, but it is that exact mindset that made me open up another shop, and I'm doing better already, and I'm making little strides, and I'm not going to stop, and I'm going to continue.
And I know a question you might have is when Shay's talking about getting her shop shut down, her shop was put on suspension. So it wasn't permanently shut down. But she was unable to get it unsuspended. So she opened a new shop. Now, if you're in a position where your shop did get permanently shut down, that's more difficult. I do have a video that kind of goes through the different kinds of things that can happen. I brush on that. I'll link it down in the description of this video if you want more on that. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it's something you could look into. If your shop was, permanently shut down, you can't really open a new shop, but you can look into maybe getting a new IP address. So I don't really know the rules on that. It's not really something I think you're technically supposed to do, but it's something that you can look into or you can look into other platforms like Amazon or. There's several other t-shirt places where you can sell t-shirts. So it doesn't have to stop you in your tracks of your entrepreneurial journey. And going along with what Shay and Lyneida were saying, I recently heard someone speaking, and I haven't shared this with you guys yet, and I thought it was really awesome. He said there is a difference between interest and commitment. And he said, if you're interested, and we can apply this to Etsy. He wasn't speaking to Etsy. But if you're interested, you have an interest. This looks fun, and I'm going to try this. And you do it for a bit. Someone who's interested stops when it gets hard. Someone who's committed keeps going until they see the reward. They keep going until they see the things happening that they expected to see. So I think that was just such a huge, that's like a mindset shift. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're interested, it's this is fun, I'm gonna keep going. I don't know, it's not working. And kind of go with what Lyneida said, like, I don't know, it's not working. So you list less and less. Someone who's committed is like, no, I'm gonna keep going and I'm gonna make this work. And I'm going to keep listing even though it's not happening for me yet. And that's a really powerful mindset shift. Are you interested in making this work, or are you committed to making this work? So that's a choice that each person has to make for themselves. Some people will be able to experience enough success during that interested period of time that maybe when they're first getting started. But I know that if I had stopped after that had worn off, I would never be where I'm at. I had to be committed because it took many months. And Shay and Lyneida certainly as well have had to be committed. There's people's stories that I've heard that they took off while probably they were just in that interested, beginning phase, that they were able to get some enough reward to keep going. But for some of us, it takes committed. Well, I think we've said everything we came on to say. And I know this is a super piece of, different piece of content. It's not going to be very edited. We filmed it. We're getting it out. I usually have content for you guys on Wednesdays and on Fridays. I'm usually in the chat when I premiere the video. So if you ever want to chat, come. It's usually at 11 o'clock. This is going out later. But you know what? Progress over perfection. This is the same way I tackled my Etsy shop. If you haven't gotten that first listing out because you're waiting to get it perfect, it's never going to be perfect. If I was waiting to get this piece of content out to you because I was waiting to start a perfect live and figure out how to get that perfect live out, or go back to my very first video, if I was waiting to get that perfect video out on YouTube, it was never going to happen and I wouldn't be on YouTube yet. Same thing with my Etsy shop. I wouldn't have anything in my Etsy shop and I wouldn't be selling anything. It's never going to be perfect. Progress over perfection, one foot in front of the other. Just keep moving. And you'll definitely see more from Shay and Lyneida. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. If you have any questions for anybody, you can drop down in the comments. Shay and Lyneida will go in and they'll be answering comments as well. Tucker is here. I don't know that he's going to take it away today, but he's a little sleepy. He has no tips right now. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.
And when we switched locations for vacation, oh no!
What'd I do?
I don't know, but we probably should have been stopping it faster. Let's see what happened.
Where is it? Is it this?
No.
My movie?
Photo. Yeah, over here, actually. Hopefully we didn't lose what we did.
Still on. No, it's still on.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, Tucker, baby, I'm sorry.
So we've been in Washington. Okay. Testing. Hi guys, Simply Shauna here. Want to say Lyneida?
Hi, I'm Lyneida.
Okay, I think that's
I'm Shay.